Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. We're back and better than ever, and we gotta play everything. Let's go back to November 1982. Making your way in the world. We were last reading Electronic Games. Yes, one of the best magazines you could read right now in November 1982, but no more reading. Let's play some video games. Our next release is on the Atari home computer. This is Jawbreaker II. Yeah, the sequel. Everyone remember Jawbreaker? At least all the other ones we've seen. We saw Jawbreaker on the Apple II and the Atari home computer in 1981, and then we saw Jawbreaker on the Atari 2600, and it was totally different. It didn't feel like Jawbreaker. It was by Tiger Vision. This is the 398th game for the Atari home computer that we played, whether you have the 400 or 800. And there it is, Jawbreaker 2. It really looks... Oh, you can actually see the watermark of Atari Mania there in the background. It is like they just added a 2 onto Jawbreaker, but it's pretty much the same box that we saw before. You can see down on the bottom left, it's by Chuckles for the Atari home computer on 8K ROM cartridge. Yes. Oh, and nice, they got a toothbrush on the spine. I love that. Yes, by Sierra. Speed through a colorful candy shop in a wild game of tag. Can you eat all the sweets, happy faces? Will stop bothering you after a quick brushing. It's off to the store for another round of gobbling delicious tidbits. Yes, very well done box and marketing. Sierra Vision or Sierra Online, that's the publishing label. They're doing great boxes. They're quite on top right now. Yes, that's correct. We've only seen Jawbreaker 1. This is the first time you could see Jawbreaker 2 up to this point. So besides the box, here's the ad you would have seen from magazines. There's some other games that we haven't seen yet. Mr. Cool and Creepy Corridors. I believe this is a 1983 ad showing Jawbreaker 2 because we are going to see Jawbreaker 2 later on other home computers too. There it is, Jawbreaker, the cartridge. Love cartridges on my home computer. And you can see it even Chuckles, or Chuck Boucher, has his name on the cartridge, which is pretty slick. Here's the manual for Jawbreaker 2. Nice. This is the 43rd game we've seen by Sierra Online across all systems, all ports, everything. They did 20 games that were Sierra Online, but before that, it was Online Systems. Started in 1980, and we had 23 games that were named after that. So there you go, by Chuckles, Chuck Boucher. This is the 6th game we've seen by Chuckles. Go, Chuck, go. Yeah, there it is, the same description they showed on the back of the box. You have to be quick, move side to side, up and down through the continuously moving doors to avoid the grinning gobblers. Your only defense is eating Energizer and go for the happy faces. Yes, it's very much like another arcade game that we're very familiar with. There's the ROM cartridge, how to turn it, pop it in. If you have the cassette version or the disc version, wow, it has all 3 versions. And I talked about this before. We play every single video game, but we are not breaking and playing every single media, like media type, because there are some differences, very minor ones, between when you play this on a cartridge, when you play this on a cassette, when you play this on a disc, sometimes, but we're not going to play every single one of those. So the controls, oh yes, I love the controls. We can pop in our Atari VCS joystick to play. You do have keyboard controls if you want them as well. There it is, explaining how the joystick works. Very interesting joystick diagram. Doesn't look the same as we usually see. Oh man, but I love Sierra. I only thought of Sierra as adventure games, but right now, they've done lots of really good arcade titles too. It's a blast. 43 other games on all other home computers right now, and even some home console, well, only Atari, but they have put out a couple from Tiger Vision. All right, so special commands. There you go. You can use those if you want to. And that's it. That's all you need to know. Pretty simple game. Let's pop in and play Jawbreaker 2. Sierra Online. It is November 2nd, 1982. Or it's still at the beginning of November 1982. Now, the reason I like the Atari is because this home computer has some buttons that you can select on the system itself. I'm hiding them right now. You can see them over there on the bottom right side. You have the option, select button, start button, and so forth. That's on the computer, and you would push those kind of like you would whenever you're flipping the switches on your Atari 2600. But this is way better. Or more fun. Okay, so you can see by the game, this looks just like the Atari 2600 version that we played. Because of licensing reasons, if you remember the first Jawbreaker, it looked just like Pac-Man. And so whenever they released it on the Atari 2600, I guess they realized, no way, we can't, this looks too much like Pac-Man. We have to change it up, and that's where we got this. This is kind of like the one on the Atari VCS, but now we're playing it for the first time on home computers. Yeah, definitely not an adventure game. We're playing some arcade here. All right, so let's just go right into it. We can do keyboard or joystick. I'm selecting joystick, and we're in. We are the chomping teeth. We must mash every bit of candy, which are the tiny dots. So it's another one of those games that's using the Pac-Man formula or idea. We even have the power-up. Look at that. The power pellets are on the edges. And when you pick up the power pellets, the tables are turned. You take care of all the smiley faces. But the way that they animated the like a pseudo 3D effect of the smiley faces is pretty slick. It looks really nice. Oh, get the candy cane. Yes, there we go. So let's go pick up this one over. Oh, no, can't get that one now. Very predictable patterns. As far as difficulty levels, you do have them. You can select using the numbers on your keypad to have different difficulty levels, but you finish the level and you get a little teeth brushing like that animation, and then you move on to the next. It gets progressively difficult. Can you get all the dots, maybe a power-up or two, and then make your way collecting everything? But it doesn't really change from this. What you see here is the entire game. Another candy cane. I'll take it. Controls are very, very simple, easy, because, I mean, come on, you're going level by level, but there's a lot to be desired here. I would still consider this a arcade maze game, similar to Pac-Man and other titles, but it's really not much of a maze. It's pretty simple. This is the 299th arcade maze game we've played thus on the show. Started way back with games like Head On by Sega and by Namco's Pac-Man. So this one honestly feels almost like a step down because it's not really as intuitive or as fun as Pac-Man. It's really, they were trying to just get away with not playing or getting a game out there that looks almost identical to Pac-Man. That's because the first Jawbreaker did. Let's see. Yeah, the spinning face is the cool highlight of it, but I mean, that's just about it. I do like the animation whenever you die. Your teeth fall out. I haven't categorized video games we've played so far that are using the let's pick up candy theme, the brushing your teeth theme. I am saying this is like, dental hygiene. Make sure you brush your teeth, kids, after eating all that candy, even though it probably won't help. So it's obviously a Pac-Man style game. This is the 131st game we've played that is a variant of Pac-Man, kind of like Pac-Man, and that's across all systems. Here on the Atari and home computers, there is a lot of good Pac-Man. I'm talking like, we got a lot of really good Pac-Man style games that you could be playing. And so this one, it does play well. It's an excellent arcade game for right now. It's just not really doing anything to push forward, and you have a lot more and better games out there. Yeah. Oh, really? Malone, you think so? Yeah, it's actually pretty simple. Like, to move left and right and anticipate where the enemies are. It's going to get progressively difficult because I started at the easiest difficulty level, but you can crank it up if you want just a little bit. So I'm already getting ratings. Brian's throwing out 3 stars of all the games you could play. You have an idea of the context of this space, how video games look right now, and how impressive or not impressive that is. This is the first time we're going to see Jawbreaker II, and it's going to be released on lots of other home computers as well. For my money, of all the games you could play across all home computers all over the world right now, November 1982, I would rate Jawbreaker kind of around the average range. If you're just now tuning in, the rating system works like this. You ask yourself, is this a bad game? You think it's pretty bad. Then you rate this somewhere around the 2-star range. If you think this is a broken game, you rate it somewhere around the 1-star range. If you think this is pretty average for all the games you could play right now across all home computers, you'd rate this somewhere around the 3-star range. If you think this is excellent, a really good game, above average game, then you rate it somewhere around the 4-star range. And then if you think this is one of the best games you could play across all home computers right now in November 1982, you rate it somewhere around the 5-star range. I'm getting 3s right now in the chat across the board. Yeah, Jawbreaker 2, it's pretty average, but it's very well presentation. So, yeah, I'll give it 3 stars. All the games you could play across all home computers. Well done, Sierra. We've seen better, too. All right, with that, let's press forward to see our next game. We're next going to play on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. This is 3D Maze. Haven't heard that one before. Here's the box for 3D Maze. Leaves a lot to be desired. At this point, we've played games that have 3D Maze in the title. This is the 4th game we've seen that's 3D Maze. That's just the name of the game. There's already plenty of them out there. On the Sinclair ZX Spectrum, this is the 131st game we've played for this micro that was released just this year. But the box here by Impact Software, man, oh man, It's actually identical. Most Impact software has the exact same thing, even though this doesn't really describe the game. I think it's the same art, yeah, for the other Impact software titles. This is the 7th game we've seen by Impact Software, or Software, W-A-R-E for some reason. Yes, that's right. It looks like it, right? Yeah, Soft, W-E-A-R, right? They do that as a joke, but I've seen both, W-E-A-R and actual software. There it is, the Sinclair ZX Spectrum, and an example of the screenshot. Nice. Lots of Sinclair ZX Spectrum games that you could play out there. We only have that few bit of artwork. I believe that's it. Let's pop in and play 3D Maze. This is by Ian Richards, published by Impact Software. It's November 4th, 1982. We're moving quite steadily here. This is the 5th game we've seen by Ian Richards up to this point. Whoa, do you feel that? I feel the power of the sound of the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Ian Richards has given us games like Star Trek and Orb, and among a few others. The reason I say November 4th is just because it's labeled here. Ian Richards could have programmed this November 4th, but because he got the date there, we're playing it right on the date. I mean, why not? Okay, hit any key to start. Here we go. And we're in. We have treasures to collect, we have coordinates, and it shows which way we're facing, and we have a time limit. So we better get going. So we move our way, keyboard controlled only. Most of the titles on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum don't use a joystick, but I'm just making my way facing south. Oh wait, am I sliding across? I wonder if I'm sliding down. But one tile at a time. I do feel a latency or something. It's kind of slow to respond to move myself through the maze. These are all the rage. We saw 3D Maze games starting around 1980, but they were trickling in really, really slow. This year, 1982, there's a lot of 3D mazes out there. I did pick up one treasure. I found a bell. That's cool. And then now my movement is not responding. Did I hit a wall or something? Okay, there you go. Now I'm facing west. Can I keep going? No, I'm turning. Oh, wait, can I turn and face the wall? No? That's so weird. Wait, I went... the keyboard control that you're using for this, sometimes we get cardinal directions, you know, north, south, east, and west. Sometimes you get actual keys that you push to move and turn in different directions, but it's a slow-paced maze game. It's also a maze game that requires, like, puzzle skills or thinking skills. There's no action here. It's not like Pac-Man-style maze games. Oh, yes. It wouldn't surprise me, Curtis, if it was. So now my controls are not responding, or at least the control to turn and move. I wonder if it won't let you look at the wall. That's very weird. Yeah, that's true. I've never seen a maze game do that. It won't let us turn to look at the wall. So we don't have freedom. Where's our freedom of movement? I don't think we have it. Yeah, that's so weird. Okay, so we're able to move ourselves through the maze. At this point, here on Chronologically Gaming, we've seen, this is the 34th maze game. 34 maze games. We've seen so many that we now break them into two different parts. We got maze games that are puzzle maze games and maze games that are arcade. And because of that, this one I would call a puzzle maze game. There's no action. There's no arcade element. It's just get to the end, maybe collect a treasure or two, but that's it. So this is the 19th puzzle maze game we've seen so far at this point on Chronologically Gaming. Some of the really good ones that you could play that are puzzle maze games up to this point are games like The Tomb of Dracula or 3D Labyrinth on the Commodore VIC-20 by Jeff Minter. The object of this one is to find 3 pieces of a treasure that are automatically collected when you step over them. Once this is accomplished, you head back to the entrance and finish the game. And there's a timer to see how long it takes. So that's it. Very, very simple, bare bones gameplay for a 3D maze. But that's not all. I have more. Because we play everything around here. There's other versions of the 3D maze game or alternate versions. But there also was another game called 3D Maze for the Sinclair ZX Spectrum released in November. So let's check that out too. This is by Phipps Associates. Another 3D maze game. This one already, the presentation looks a little bit better. How complex do we want it? Let's go 1. Oh gosh. Wait 3 minutes. Load again. let's fast forward that. Man, the loading times. Okay, do we want to play against time? How about we say yes? Show our coordinates? Yes. Then we're gonna have to wait 3 minutes again. Yikes. All right, so we're in as the 3D maze. Now the question is, I don't know the controls to move around the maze. It's got to be cursor keys, right? It's not. That's strange, because the last 3D maze by Ian Richards, it was not cursor keys either. So just a flash on the screen here, this is the like a pseudo ZX Spectrum keyboard. 5, 6, 7, 8 are the cursor keys. This one does not respond for that either. Well, if you're not going to let me turn anything, come on. Oh, wait, there it is. Just keep mashing random keys so you can move in the maze. Is it... That's weird. It's Z and X? Man, I don't know why I get surprised with controls. At this point, we've seen cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west to move, or NW, SE. But we've also seen the cursor keys. That's what I thought too, Curtis. But both of these 3D maze games, they're using the keyboard control. All right. I'll stop it there. That's enough 3D maze anyway for as of right now. But of all the games you could be playing right now across all home computers, this is about the same level, or I should say the Impact Software, Ian Richards' version, is around the same level as games like Amazing for the TRS-80 color computer or Space Maz on the BBC Micro. So I would say, of all the games you could play up to this point, this is around 2.5 stars. Looking over the chat, I see some 2s. Wow, maybe I was being more generous. Mostly lowers or 2.5. Yeah, so I'm just going to say for the Impact Software Space Maze, that's the one that I'll say is the 2.5 star 3D maze experience. All right, and now, without further ado, let's see what our next title is. Playing every single video game and all over the world, our next release is on the Sharp MZ line of computers. This is Gatecrasher and Jungle Jinks, which was part of this compilation, and I haven't seen any proof of any of these games being separated. They are only together. And this is still in the United Kingdom, despite the Japanese commercial over there. All right, here we go. Now, of the titles so far, Gatecrasher and Jungle Jinks, all I have is a couple screenshots of the experience of what it's like to play both these games. So in light of that, we are going to just bypass most of this to play both games and use save states. I'm going to load up to play the game. This is the 12th game, this compilation of 2 that we played for the Sharp MZ line of computers. Ready, set, go. Do I want instructions to play Gatecrasher? No, I do not. All you need is 1, 2, and 3 to play. Ready, set, go. Let's play Gatecrasher. You leave the gate, and all you got to do is move around key to key, going in between the clubs. Is that what they look like? So they're using kind of like it looks like tile-based graphics, but very, very simple. It's skiing, everyone. We're playing skiing on the Sharp MZ line of home computers. This is the 3rd game we've seen by Knights Computers. Very, very simple. Yes, we made it to the end. First try. I love it. Yeah, we made it. So this is our time. Do we want another game? Yeah, why not? Let's do another game. All right, here we go. No, we still don't want instructions. We know how to play. It's just the 3 keys you need to know about. And that's basically the game. It's very, very simple skiing. This is the 17th skiing game that we've seen on Chronologically Gaming across all systems. Fairly simple compared to all the games at this point. The best games you can play right now that are skiing games are like skiing on the Coco, Alpine Ski in the arcade, Horace Go Skiing was one we just recently saw, skiing on the Atari 2600, US Ski Team skiing on the Intellivision, and then Dynamite Skier on the Commodore 64. One of my personal favorites so far because you could blow things up. So if you think this is pretty quaint, it's actually, it could be worse. All right, here we go. Let's go one more time. It's not as bad as Spectrum skiing. I'd say this is about the same level as skiing by Centaur Soft that we played on the Atari home computer. Ah, I love it, Marshall. Yeah, right? Yeah, so I couldn't even find the box for this one. Even there's a couple databases for Sharp MZ collectors. They couldn't have it either. They didn't have the box, so I wasn't able to find anything like that. Okay, so let's stop. We'll go ahead and quit it here. That's good for the first round of this compilation. So this is a two-parter compilation, and you can only get these games on this compilation, to my knowledge. This is the 53rd compilation we played so far on Chronologically Gaming. And compilations, we are not going to play everything. If you understand how the computer game world works and how they would bundle games together, we're not playing all the compilations out there, especially if it's games we've already seen on the show. We're only playing things like this, compilations that you can only get these games here. All right, let's check out Jungle Jinks. Knight's Computers. It is November 7th, 1982. All right, Jungle Jinks. For this one, again, I'm going to load the state. I'm going to do it a little different, though. Load a state so we can get in and get into the game fast. Nice. The Entertainer again on Chronologically Gaming. So these two games will be rated together because they're only in the compilation. So we're both doing Jungle Jinks and we're both doing Gatecrasher together. Nice, nice computers. Well done. There it is, Jungle Jinks. Essentially, you would take the cassette and flip it over to play either one of the games. All right, so here you go. Knights Micros. I'm ready. School me. Do you want instructions? Sure, we'll do instructions this time. The object is to shoot monkeys. Fire at the monkey using one of the guns, 1 through 6. Press the number keys to fire. If it climbs to the top, the game is over. All right, so get your hands on the keys. All right, I'm ready. 2, 3. Oh, gosh, the monkey moves so fast. What in the world? So this is like a... Do we want to try again? Sure. 4, 5, 6. It's so quick. Get it? Get it? How many? It's like a... You know what this feels like? It feels like I'm playing a mobile game from 1982. That's the end of the game. It's just so quick and fast. And it's almost a downgrade when you think of a fixed shooter. It's not even really a fixed shooter. It's not something like Space Invaders. This is us just pushing the key to command the monkey. Look at this. It's literally, I'm just firing off. If I can do it. It's so quick. Oh gosh, it's not even close to Donkey Kong Jr. And yes, ASCII characters again. I said it when we introduced the Sharp MZ line of systems. This is on the MZ700. It doesn't have BASIC built in. You have to load BASIC first, and then after you load BASIC, then you can load the game after that. It's a very long and lengthy load process. I love it, Curtis. All right, I think that's enough of Jungle Jinx. So there you go. Those are the two games, part of that compilation, Gatecrasher and Jungle Jinx. The style of that game, the way you're pushing the buttons, reminds me of Blue Meanies from Outer Space that we saw on the Commodore VIC-20, where it's a shooter, like a generic shooter. This would mark the 97th shooter we've played on the show that we can't classify as a shoot-'em-up, as a fixed shooter, as a tube shooter, you know, like, or a command shooter. It's like its own degraded version of a shooter. So yeah, of all the games you can play up to this point, even them both together, I would still call it bad of all the games you could play. It's too simple. It's too easy. Yeah, I want to give it a 2. Barclay says. I see a 2.5 over there. 2 being generous, so maybe I'm being a little generous with 2, but I'll say 2. It is a compilation of 2 games. If this is all you had on this computer, you'd be happy, but we got a lot of other computers that are out there. All right, our next game after that should look really familiar. I put it here as the time placement. This is when Raiders of the Lost Ark would have released, so we finally caught up to the episode where Howard Scott Warshaw came on the show. I'm going to include a link to the video that you can watch for that one. Incredible. Great, great guest, great interview. So when you get a chance, watch Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is where it would have been released, but we kind of broke the rules because it's Howard Scott Warshaw. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is after this commercial break.
A great movie has now become an exciting video game, Alien.
Oh no!
One of the new games of the century from 20th Century Fox.
That's it. Smooth move, 20th Century Fox. Don't show any of the video game footage. That's the way to do it. This is Alien for the Atari 2600. I referenced this before when we were talking about licensed video games of all the games you could see up to this point, and we knew it was coming up. It was pretty close. Here's the box for Alien. Finally, the video game is named Alien, and it is the official Alien. At this point on Chronologically Gaming, we've played 35 games that have Alien in the title, and it's not the movie. It's not the licensed game. Some games were even called Alien or The Alien or Aliens, and it wasn't this. This is it. This is the first official time we can play a game based on Ridley Scott's Alien. But don't get too excited. The front of the box is like, 20th Century Fox just puts the movie poster on the front. Very simple. And then you flip it over on the back. Ever since you left the last planet, you've been bothered by eerie sounds coming from somewhere in the hull of Nostromo. Cool. So they even have the story of Alien on the back. Oh, and it's programmed by Dallas North. Cool. Wait a second. Dallas North? Why does it say that? Because I was told it was someone... Wait, is Dallas North... Isn't that the character from Alien? I thought it was Doug Neubauer that did this one. Wait a second. Now I'm wondering what's going on here. Thank you, Sisters of Mercy. I had a great time, too. All right. Other images we got for Alien. Oh, we got the cleaned up box. The reconstructed one. This video game is only on the Atari 2600, and it marks the 179th game we've played for the Atari home console. We got a cleaned up back of the box too, and here's one of the ads you would have seen from magazines, other games that Fox Video Games has released. This is the 6th game we've seen by Fox Video Games so far on Chronologically Gaming. We've seen Deadly Duck, we've seen Fast Eddie, Beanie Bopper, Worm War 1, Megaforce, and here's their next one. So that means we haven't seen Turmoil yet, but we are going to see it before we end November. So we'll knock out this whole list. We like doing that on Chronologically Gaming, just playing them all. I mean, why not? There's the cartridge for Alien. We're going to pop into our Atari. Oh, really? Yeah, we'll see when we start playing the game, right? Oh, I know, right? Oh, that's true. The ColecoVision with the expansion, being able to play this. Yeah, whenever I say it's only on the Atari 2600, you could get away with playing some of this on the ColecoVision. Yeah, there's the example of the screenshot, so we know what we're getting into. Here is the manual for Alien. Yes. In space, no one can hear you scream, just like in the movie. It shows on the left side how to set it up, shows us what the aliens are, who we are, alien egg, the pulsar, so shows us how to begin by making sure the power is off and all that stuff. The objective is run through the hallways of your spaceship, crush all the alien eggs that have been placed there. In other words, pick up all the dots. We're doing it again like Pac-Man. You must also avoid or destroy the adult aliens and snatch up as many prizes as possible. The controls are move around, smash eggs, just running over them. So we get to, that's a lot of alien eggs, if that's true. You can also get the hyper warp passage, which is just warping from one side to the other. Each human's equipped with a flamethrower that's activated by the joystick button. And then the screen display over here, we got the level of play and difficulty switches right here above my head. You have bonus rounds, which is the next scene. We'll talk about that when we get to the bonus rounds. But the difficulty switches is another thing, because you have ways that the aliens can travel, and then whether the pulsars do something or not. So you have difficulty switches you would have to switch to play the game. So we got what the flamethrower is, and then we do have different game levels. 4 different levels to play. You got the practice game, normal, advanced, and then experts. And then it explains here what the scoring's like. You got to know how to get the high score here in November 1982. Flamethrowers, pulsars, and prizes. And there's the point charts for everything. And then there it is, Dallas North. Play strategies, get the eggs in one area at a time. Wait, is Dallas North a pseudonym for, or did Doug Neubauer do that because it's the character from Alien? Yeah, I know, the bonus round. So we got to make sure we get to the first level. And then over here on the right side, it shows what's available for Fox Video Games with coming attractions. Got it. Let's pop in and play some Alien. This is by Doug Neubauer. It's November 10th, 1982, and it's Fox Video Games that gave us the first release. So I'm just going to go right into it and explain one of the big issues with the game. As soon as I hit reset and it starts the game and we're playing the game, the default difficulty switch is where the pulsar doesn't do anything. Well, I think it is. It's on the right switch. Okay, good. Okay, before when I played this and I booted it up, the default was when you picked up the pulsar, it didn't allow you to take out the aliens. And also your flamethrower wouldn't work either. But you can see what the whole point of the game is. It's Pac-Man. I mean, we're going around and we're squishing eggs, as they said in the manual, but it's essentially like picking up all the pellets, and then the pulsar ends up being your power pellet. You can turn the tables on the aliens. They don't look that much like xenomorphs, but it is also dependent on which game difficulty you're playing on. Oh, very much so. And then you get the bonus round. Can you make it to the other side in a certain amount of time? And we did not. So this means this game is both Pac-Man and Freeway. It's like you're getting 2 in 1. I was only able to move in one direction on the bonus round. Oh, and you also have the flamethrower. I need to show that one off too. Check this out. The flamethrower will not destroy enemies. It kind of just runs them the other way for a brief time. So I do like the flamethrower idea. It just feels underpowered. I wanted to scare them away longer, but it really doesn't do that. Okay, looking good there. You notice I'm getting less time with the pulsars too. This marks the 4th game we've seen by Doug Neubauer, the same Doug Neubauer that did Star Raiders on the Atari home computer, and Star Raiders for the Atari 2600, and Megaforce by Fox Video Games. Okay, we can make it now. Quick. Go, go, go. Oh, I missed it. You only get that straight shot, so it's almost like a more rudimentary version of Freeway, in a way. And this game makes me think of what Steven Spielberg wanted Howard Scott Warshaw to do with E.T. He said, can you make it like Pac-Man? That's kind of like what they did with Aliens. Or Alien, sorry. It's just make it like Pac-Man and move on. Oh, man, they got me. I'm not going to classify this game as a horror video game, even though it's based on a definitely scary horror movie. There's not too much, though, that this one is doing that we haven't seen. It's a slightly fresh take, but I mean, there's so much already. Go! Yes! We did it! Awesome. This is the 299th arcade maze game that we've seen on Chronologically Gaming, but it is combining that with both Freeway, too, which is nice. It's got the difficulty levels and options and the modes to play. It also is the 48th game that we've seen that's inspired by movies. For Pac-Man, it's the 132nd Pac-Man variant we've seen across all systems. And because it's doing Freeway, it's like a little bit like Frogger, because we said, you know, Freeway's a variant of Frogger. And that is the 35th Frogger-like game we've seen up to this point. That's true, you don't have a flamethrower in Pac-Man, but the flamethrower doesn't do that much, and it only is on moving left and right. You cannot do the flamethrower when you're moving up and down. Notice when I move up and down, see, it's only... Come on, get out of here. Oh, see? Nope. Oh, I ran out of flamethrower. And they got me. And there you go. That's a good place to start there. I love it. All right, so yeah, it's essentially what Steven Spielberg wanted Howard Scott Warshaw to do with E.T., and they did it with Alien. So the difficulty switch was an issue before, but I guess it's not now, because you can switch the difficulty so the pulsars don't do anything. But looking over the chat, yeah, I see, because it has the sub-games, yeah, I see Curtis throwing 3.5 stars out there. James is saying 3 and 3.5. Oh, that's true. The Tutankhamun, yeah, moving left and right. The fire action, yeah, with flamethrower is kind of cool. Yeah, it isn't the best, though. I'm with you there as well. I won't be quite as kind. I won't say above average for all the games you could play across all home consoles. It's very normal for all the games you could play up to this point. I got to hit it with just right in the middle. 3 stars of all the games you could play up to this right now on all home consoles. So Alien is a noble effort. It's an okay time. It's perfectly capable, but not pushing or doing anything super impressive. All right, that's where we got to put our video game playing on pause. Thanks so much for joining me. Thanks so much. Glad to be back. playing everything all over the world in order of release. We got to keep going on our quest, and we want to leave no game left behind, as usual. Next time on Chronologically Gaming, prepare to penetrate into more scrambled clones, space shuttle simulation, and Datamost creates one of the most influential games ever on the Apple II. That's it for today, and like I always say, on the Timex Sinclair 1000, no one can hear you scream. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.